So everyone, welcome. My name is Tanya Klich, reporter for Forbes Lifestyle. Our guest today is Sadie Kurzman, founder of 305 Fitness, and she's taking questions. So if you have a question, drop it in the comments section. Our social media team are fielding all the comments and questions to make sure Sadie gets to them all. Before we delve into the world of 305, we just want to start with, how are you? How are you feeling? How's the team?
Being a fitness studio owner is a really weird thing to be right now. And that's definitely how I've identified for the past few years. So I would say I'm on a roller coaster of emotion, like so many of us. This morning, I burst into tears over nothing. And then I'm also feeling really optimistic and seeing opportunities. So just a big old roller coaster.
Well, I know you say you're feeling a roller coaster of emotions, but you look happy, you look positive, and that's just what you're doing as a leader for your team, for your members and community, and that's just the type of fitness pro that you are. So first of all, before we get into how the coronavirus outbreak is affecting the fitness industry and entrepreneurs like yourself, first, can you just give us a brief background on what 305 Fitness is as a fitness startup?
Absolutely. And anyone who happens to be watching this who's taken 305, drop it in the chat. Let us know, right, Tanya? So Tanya's taken the class, which is why I adore seeing her here. We have 7 studios. Most of them are in New York, Boston, DC. We have pop-ups in LA, San Francisco, Chicago. The idea is it's basically like an aerobics class. It's really fun. There's dance moves, it's high intensity, and there's a DJ in every class, which makes it super fun. So to date, we've been mostly a brick and mortar business, but now obviously with coronavirus, we are doing new things, getting out there in different ways.
The startup story behind your brand is equally interesting. Could you let us know the whole genesis of 305?
Yes. So I started the business in college. I had never worked for anyone else, is what I always tell people. I just sort of figured it out, put one foot in front of the other. I started by renting from dance studios, just 1 hour at a time, collecting cash at the door. I did this in college. I made $40,000 in one semester from just collecting $5 cash at the door and packing it in with hundreds of people. So that was really the genesis. Was I loved teaching fitness. I was able to grow a following and connect with people, but you know, we did that the good old American way, right? One class at a time, one studio at a time, grew profitably, grew really nice and slowly. And then that's when we decided to expand, take on investors. So for the past 8 years, I've been working on this since I was 22. And this challenge of coronavirus is totally kicking our ass, but also just allowing for opportunity to blossom everywhere.
Wonderful. Okay, now let's get to the present. Can you give us a recap of just how it was like as the owner of a fitness boutique chain, and just give us a behind the scenes of the decisions you had to make as the news and the crisis was worsening?
Oh, you know, we saw it happen in China, obviously, saw it happen in Italy, knew that it was going to hit the United States. And I mean, we just sat there wondering when leaders were going to kick into action. I think that we were waiting for our president to say something. We were waiting for New York government to say something. We were looking around and we were noticing every other boutique studio was leaving the doors open. So we were really just looking for leadership. And the thing was, Tanya, it wasn't happening. We knew that there were cases in New York and people weren't closing. So what we did was we took it upon ourselves. I'm a leader in wellness, right? How can I not say something, even though it might compromise our ability to drive revenue, even though people were still coming up until the last minute that we closed our studio doors. But at the end of the day, we closed before any other studio did, before the government said that we had to, because it was just the right thing to do.
Right. There were 2 phases, right? First, it was like, okay, this is unraveling, this is happening. Let's pick step 1. And that was, how did you deal with the first rollout of news when it came to just reassuring the members that it's safe to come to class for now? This was before you had to shut down.
Yeah, so before we had to shut down, when we were just like, it had just started to hit Italy. I think they just announced the quarantine. We were like, oh, is this really going to get here? Obviously, in retrospect, it's like, obviously it was going to come to the US. What makes this any different than the rest of the world? So, but at the time, I think a lot of us were just watching and waiting for it to hit and seeing if it would. So at the time, what we did was we got rid of all of our equipment. We already don't have a lot of equipment in classes. We made sure to double down on sanitation. We capped the amount of classes so that people could still feel like there was a safe distance between them and their neighbor. So those were the early steps that we took. That second phase, when we decided to close, was like, okay, this is the right moral thing to do. We have to close our studio doors. It's not the right thing to be outside right now and really basically just be compromising people's safety and wellness. So we told everyone, listen, stay home. Stay home, it's the right thing to do. And in the meantime, we'll figure out how to get our classes up and running free online so that you can still do 305 during this time.
Right. So there are people who are not just enthusiastic members, they literally are addicted to fitness and 305 specifically because they are fun workouts. I believe no matter who you are, where you come from, you just have to dance it out. So amid these stressful times, that's not an option to go to these live classes. And so much of the energy comes from not just the awesome instructors, but other members, and of course the live DJ, just that ambiance of a live class. How do you make up for that? How do you still offer that to your current members?
Well, we're definitely doing our best. And one of the ways that we're trying to recreate that live hyped experience is we have classes on YouTube twice a day. They're live. People can watch them after, but a lot of people tune in live because it's so fun to be able to drop in the chat. We give contests, we do shout outs, we ask questions. So we're mimicking that kind of in-person experience by having this live format with this chat, just like you and I are doing right now. And people are getting super creative about it, Tanya. People are like celebrating birthdays together and tuning in and dropping their friend a birthday shout out. We were doing a Disney themed class for a while. So I had people DMing me saying, everyone in my family aged 3 to 83 around the world, we're all tuning into this and Zooming one another, FaceTiming one another. So I think people are watching it and doing it, but then finding other ways to still have that community feel with their friends.
Yes. Can you give other gym owners, other fitness influencers, instructors, personal trainers tips on keeping their business going, keeping their followers and clients engaged amid these times?
Yeah, God, there's so much advice that I could give to the fitness industry. I think there's two pieces of advice that I'm thinking of. One is in terms of message and what we're putting out there. The other one is really thinking about business model, which is hard to think about right now. So message and what you're putting out there, consider what people want right now. They probably don't want to be told that they have to lose weight, that Beachbody is coming. Like, we don't need to make fitness this like high pressure, traumatic experience for people. So think about the message you're putting out there. Right now, people want joy. They want connection. Is that what you're giving people? Or are you giving people this idea of like punishment, of needing to work out, of shame and guilt? So that's how I would really recommend that anyone working in fitness rethink some of their messaging. And the other thing is in terms of business model, where to go. So if you're a single boutique studio and you have a really passionate community, I might recommend trying to monetize your classes online, keep things going. If you're a bigger brand that's really looking for national reach, then putting stuff up online for free as a way to grow your following might be a better way. There's so many interesting business models. There's fitness studios that are doing one-on-one personal training over Zoom and maybe charging a little bit less than they would in person. So so many different interesting business models that are rising from this time. But it's so important, of course, that any boutique owner or fitness trainer is really thinking about, well, what's my end goal here and how can I use this time to see that kind of opportunity?
Really awesome. You are not just using live classes, you're using newsletters, more personalized messaging.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So we're just trying to build like a 360 community online. I think that's another thing, right? So many of us business owners, we think so literally about why people are drawn to us. So if I'm a bakery owner, I might be sitting here thinking, oh, well, people just come to me for muffins and bread. I don't offer anything more. But actually, you might offer more. You might offer comfort, community, a feeling of connection. So in the same way we've been thinking of 305, our voice is all around owning who you are, taking leadership, having confidence. So we're still embodying that same idea and teaching people how to do that, whether that's through our live workouts, through emails, through videos that we're putting together, through experts that we're inviting to come help and share in that message. So we're doing a lot. It's not just the workouts, you're right, but all of it is really around the brand and what it means for people.
Right. What kind of experts have you had? What kind of partnerships have you created to keep the 305 community going?
So one thing that we did last week, which was amazing, was we did, if any of you know the name Steve Aoki, he's a big time DJ. We did a class with him and it was a fundraiser class. The fundraiser went to our instructors and DJs. It's basically a grant that they can receive from this fundraiser that allows them to do creative projects right now. So basically a DJ to put together his next masterpiece, for an instructor to put together choreography. So all of our people right now that are out of work, they don't have a paycheck coming in. We want them to be able to still be able to pay for groceries and essentials, order equipment and software that they need to use this time to create awesome projects. So that was an example of an awesome partnership with this like world famous DJ to raise money. And we ended up raising close to $20,000, which was really exciting.
That's wonderful news. It's great to see how entrepreneurs, fitness entrepreneurs can get innovative right now, get creative. So you were talking about how you're supporting your instructors, your staff. As a result of the mandated closures, did you have to lay off your instructors? What kind of business moves did you have to do to just keep business afloat right now?
Yeah, Tanya, it's such a good question. The harsh reality is we needed a business to come back to.
Yeah.
My heart was in, let's pay everyone, let's continue to pay, and we just couldn't when we looked at how long this could go on. So what we did was we furloughed most of our people, instructors, DJs, studio managers, super painful. What that meant for us was instead of laying off, we could at least continue to offer them like health benefits and perks that we have. And they know that there's a job to come back to as soon as we can reopen. So that was one move that we made early on. We also closed early enough that we could give severance to people and communicate with them the right things to do. So I know so many, business owners right now, it's really sad and painful to tell people that you care about, sorry, I don't have money for you. So many of us make the mistake, though, of thinking that that means that we can't still connect, reach out, support, and care for them in other ways. So we've been really transparent with them. We gave them as much severance as we could possibly afford, and we continue to do healing groups, community get-togethers, professional development, all these things that our instructors, DJs, and studio talent can still tune into, even though times are hard. So even though we can't necessarily pay right now, we can still give love and community and connection and guidance and advice and support.
Yes. So everyone who's just tuning in, we have Sadie Kurzman here. She is the founder of 305 Fitness, a chain of fun cardio studio workouts across New York, Boston, LA, right?
Yes.
How many
DC.
locations? How many?
So we have 7 locations nationally, and then we have 3 pop-ups. But what another cool thing about our business that you may know is we have our certified instructors. So we teach people how to teach these classes, and they host classes out of rented studio space or gym. So we actually have 305 all over the place, from Cincinnati to Tampa to Argentina. So if you go on our website, 305fitness.com, you'll see where we have these pockets of classes everywhere.
Sadie, where are you right now? Where are you joining us from?
I'm in Miami. I'll show you. I'm in my backyard here, my parents' home. This is where I grew up. So that's the beautiful pool. I really can't complain. For me, it's a much better place to be here than New York, where I normally live. But yes, living at home with the parents, kind of a weird time, like it is for many of us, I know.
It's a great time.
Where are you, Tanya?
I am in Queens, New York, my hometown. So
there you go.
Live from New York. So can you tell us about how your upbringing influenced how you designed these unique workouts, and just how people can just use their personal passions and backgrounds to create their own ventures at the moment?
Yes, this is an amazing time in a lot of ways for those of us who were needing to shake things up in our life, right? It's like the ultimate disruptive time. It's not pretty. A lot of people are going to suffer, but if we can use this time to see opportunity, we've never had the chance to have people's attention in the way that we do right now. The fact that we live stream classes and we have over 1,000 people tuning in from around the world is amazing. That's just not the kind of attention that we could have gotten a couple weeks ago. So I would really encourage anyone who's been itching for entrepreneurship or creativity, this is the time. It feels overwhelming, and I know that the less access to resources we have, the scarier it can feel to invest our time. But this is the time when the world's asleep is to try and get ahead and put your work out there. Because for us artists, creators, entrepreneurs, this is the time when actually we may be feeling like we're thriving. So see that opportunity, continue to put yourself out there. This is totally it.
Wonderful. And again, this is Sadie Kurzman, founder of 305 Fitness. If you are a fitness professional yourself or someone who is just a fitness lover, just looking for ways to stay positive, healthy, active, please drop your questions in the comment section. We'll make sure Sadie gets to all of them within the session. Sadie, could you also just let us know ways that you are further empowering members? I know that you're taking an extra step to even create new entrepreneurs at the moment with your training program.
That's right. So our digital certification is what we launched during this time. It's really intended for people who grew up dancing, love to dance. So if anyone's listening and you grew up dancing, love to dance, totally for you. It's intended for someone who's interested in breaking into the fitness industry, someone who maybe is already working in fitness, but really wanting to learn how to teach aerobics, which is what we offer. So we have this instructor certification program. It's online right now. Check it out on our website. It'll say really clearly instructor certification. Tanya, it's only $190 for a week-long training course. We teach you everything there is to know, not just about how to teach this class, but also how to build a following, how to use social media in smart ways, how to build your following, how to price your classes, all of that stuff, how to live stream your classes so that we don't have to wait. You know, these classes don't require any equipment, which is super cool. So, and for those who can't afford it, Tanya, we're also offering a scholarship. So I would definitely, really, there's nothing to lose. Check it out. It's just a great way that if you're itching for entrepreneurship, you're passionate about dance, you're passionate about fitness, but you don't quite have your own idea. This is like totally a great stepping stone for you to really learn the basics of being an entrepreneur.
Yes, I know you provide a lot of practical tips to instructors in training, starting with social media. It's such a huge part of a fitness business. Can you give us 2 to 3 top tips for fitness instructors, personal trainers who just can't work one-on-one IRL with their clients at the moment?
100%. Okay, so let's think about social media tips using the digital age right now when we can't be IRL for fitness trainers. Okay, one is, I would say, don't be shy about taking photos and videos, especially if you were doing that before. Yeah, we're all in this epidemic. Most of us are staying at home. So you don't need to be shy about the fact that, I don't know, that maybe you don't have like that super cool Instagram backdrop. Embrace the reality that's here. And if you were putting out this content before, not for the approval of other people, then why not continue to do it? Put yourself out there, be relentless, continue to take those photos and videos and post and share what you're up to, even if maybe the aesthetics aren't 100% perfect. The second thing, which is related, is just put your work out there. You can figure out the details later. You can try putting on a class at 11 a.m. And if no one shows up, you can try the next day trying it at 6 p.m. So don't get so attached to, oh my gosh, what platform should I use? Should I use Zoom? Should I use Facebook? Just try it and see what people like it and tune in most to. You can try collecting Venmo. You can try doing donations. You can try making it a paywall. But it's really important in this time when things are moving so quickly, it's just to put it out there without attachment and just try. You can always pivot and figure it out later. I think some people get so stuck in wanting to make sure everything needs to be perfect before I launch. There's no launch. There's just try it and then see what works.
See what sticks.
Exactly.
Okay. And, you know, it's not just about staying fit or going online. What kind of tips do you have for those who are just stuck at home? They are not maybe logging into Zoom or Instagram. Like, what are just basic ways to stay healthy day to day as we're all stuck at home for the sake of humanity?
So I'll tell you, most people in the fitness industry are going to tell you ridiculous stuff. Like, you can use soup cans for weights, and like, Who wants to be using soup cans for weights right now, Tanya? I hate that piece of advice. So what I'll tell you is self-care is free. You don't need equipment. You don't need bells and whistles. You don't need a trainer. You don't need an expensive gym membership. You don't need a lot of space. Self-care can mean that you are dancing and moving and participating in workouts, if that makes you happy. It can also mean that you just sit on the couch and stare into the distance. It can mean that when you go to the bathroom, you don't need to get out Instagram. You can just have a bathroom moment for yourself. So self-care is really the act of taking care of ourselves, and it doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to have equipment. You can start right now today with limited space, limited money, just by the act of wanting to take care of yourself.
Wonderful. So can you just give us more advice for those who are one-on-one instructors, those who don't really have a large following and want few clients?
Well, right now people want to support small business. I think a lot of people, especially in the US, are seeing how big business is going to be okay, Wall Street is going to be okay, the banks are going to be okay, but small business is really suffering right now. So tell people that I'm hurting. I'm a fighter. I'm going to be okay, but I'm hurting, and here's how you can help. You know, an example of this is like my dad works out with a trainer once a week, and he's older, and he like doesn't know that he can do workouts on Zoom. I wish that his trainer would proactively reach out and say, hey man, let me teach you how to set up this tech equipment. Hey, do you want to pay me $40 to do some online one-on-one training? My dad is the kind of person that's way more likely to support his local trainer that he's already used to than supporting a big national brand that has big followers and a lot of advertising dollars. So lean into that. It's going to mean that it's one-on-one outreach. It's not going to mean that you're, blowing up on Instagram. It just means going to the people that you already know and in a really authentic way saying, hey, we're hurting. I'm hurting. Can you help right now?
Thank you, Sadie. We're going to toss the questions to the audience, but again, this is Sadie Kurzman, founder of 305 Fitness, cardio studio chain. It just launched what year, Sadie?
2014. Yeah. I officially opened the door to our village studio, but so we've been going at this, but I really started it about 8 years ago in college.
Got it. So again, to everyone, it's actually a special episode because all my past lives, I made it a point to just wear and tap my vast collection of white t-shirts, white flowy tops, white silk blouses, just because it's less of a distraction and people can focus on the conversation and content. But this is my first time just wearing something fun and breaking out of the mold, bringing in some color to the conversation. So that brings us to our next question, our first question from the audience. How can people stay mentally positive and healthy during this time? Physical is one thing, but mental and emotional is quite another. What are your tips?
Sense opportunity. Count your blessings. Take time for yourself. We take care of other people so much, take care of yourself. Sense opportunity, count your blessings. When we focus on the opportunity that's here, okay, look, for me, we have 2% of the revenue that we had 45 days ago. That is like completely devastating for me, right? But I'm also looking at the opportunity. What's the opportunity? People are online more. What's the opportunity? We have people's attention. What's the opportunity? People have never wanted to tune into a workout that's so much about relentless fun and confidence than they do right now. So look for the opportunity. It's going to put you in a much better mood.
Wonderful. I love that. Counting blessings, focusing on opportunity instead of setbacks at the moment. It's a time where we just can't take any of it for granted. Next question is, what are some of the easiest at-home workouts to try? Not all of us have a studio at home where we can build that cake.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little biased, but I would definitely say check out 305 Fitness's Instagram if you pop off for a second to follow us and come back. We have our live stream workouts twice a day on YouTube, so you can also look up YouTube 305 Fitness. What I love about these classes is they don't require equipment. They don't require a lot of space. We give you this really fun music. It's 40 minutes of your day. It's accessible. My mom does it. My dad does it. 3-year-olds do it when we have kid-friendly themes. So it's obviously my personal favorite.
Wonderful. I would love to see the whole family join next stream.
Right.
So a lot of us, next question from the audience, a lot of us are working from home. We might not have the ideal setup for a home office. And one viewer says they are in pain in their neck and shoulders. Any advice? What kind of stretches?
Well, I'm so happy that you asked because I'm actually right here and I can show you, if you don't mind, real quick. If you have a foam roller, all the better. You know, put it on your back, lay down. Ooh, so good. Whenever you're sensing like someone needs to massage me, you can do it to yourself with a foam roller. And I'll show you real quick if you've got a small ball. I'm so glad you asked. I just happen to be outside right here. You can take a tennis ball. You can order a lacrosse ball online. It looks just like this. And look, if you take this, you put it right here, okay? So right by your back, and you can just lean right against a wall, raise your arm up like this. It just feels amazing. So small little things like this can really be your saving grace to keep those neck and shoulders from, you know, we're like this all day, right? So it's really no surprise that we don't feel so well.
It all starts with color, which is what our audience is really curious about. Back to business, how do you envision the health and fitness industry changing after this is all over?
Wow, I don't know. I mean, I'm super curious also to hear from the audience. How do you guys think about the health and industry, you know, the health and wellness industry differently? How is you as maybe consumers of it or business owners in it? I'm really interested in learning that. I'm not really sure. I do definitely think though that people are going to want to prioritize dance and things that make them feel good as opposed to those kinds of punishing workouts that are all about counting calories. You know, I think this time has really just shed a light that our mental health really matters.
Right. Of course, fitness, as much as dance workouts and intense training or a light jog contributes to it, it all starts in the kitchen, right? So what are you eating? What are your favorite recipes to stay healthy during this outbreak?
Well, with eating healthy, the thing is, when we eat healthy, it is good for our minds. It's good for our emotions. We're less on like this crazy sugar, you know. But here's the thing, Tanya, is if you don't eat healthy, you know, if you're like eating lots of Oreos, you're slipping up, then what's also really important is just to forgive yourself and move on. That's like super important. If we're eating so that we can emotionally feel better and feel like more even keeled, then if we ever get off track, we want to make sure that we're not spending hours beating ourselves up over it. You ate some Oreos. It's not a big deal. Move on with your life. Maybe the next day you'll do a little better.
Some people are just joining it and want to know what 305 stands for. Again, this is Sadie Kurzman, founder of 305 Fitness. Sadie, can you run through the entrepreneurial startup story behind 305?
Yes.
This will give some of our viewers not just fitness inspo, but business inspo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I think it's important to share this story for any aspiring entrepreneurs out there. So you might be inspired that you don't need all the money in the world to get started. You can just get started. I started this brand when I was in college. I was teaching these fitness classes for fun, had no intention to start a business, just absolutely adored what I was doing. And I just put myself out there little by little. I started by renting from a dance studio off campus and charging $5 cash at the door, and then growing from 1 class a week to 7 classes a week, and starting to understand what people were saying about the class, starting to tweak things. I never got too attached to what I was doing. I didn't think like, this is the idea and I'm absolutely fixed on it. I tried different things and I saw what was gonna work. I entered a business pitch competition my senior year. I won $25,000 from that competition, which was like, oh my God, such a gift from the universe. You can imagine at 22 years old, it's just like, it's actually not all that much money when it comes to fully starting a business, but I just thought I was the richest person on earth and I was not going to waste this opportunity. So I gave myself 6 months. In New York City, 25,000 is like 6 months of rent, basic needs, and like this much for marketing. It was not like a fancy setup. And I just did the same thing. I rented from dance studios, 1 class at a time, built it with 1 customer at a time, told every client who walked in the door, listen, please help me. If you like these classes, share it online, share it with a friend, bring a friend for free next time. I was just really relentless about sharing this passion with others. And now they took it upon themselves to be like my ambassadors and to carry this. That kind of passion is just contagious for people. People want to feel like they're part of your vision and your dream. So that is what I would say to any entrepreneurs And then fast forward, we have 7 studios and there's this awesome business with hundreds of instructors, certified instructors all over the world. But 305 stands for Miami's area code, which is where I'm from. And that's the whole thing. We've got live DJs and it's like very vibey. Anyone who's listening, who's interested in entrepreneurship, I hope that that story is a little bit motivating for you. Is just start somewhere. And most importantly, you don't have to spend a lot. You just have to get people to want to spread your message. And you have to be relentless with emails and texts and follow-ups and phone calls and meetings. And the whole idea is you're just relying on word of mouth to help you get out there if you don't have a lot of funds.
Well, I feel motivated and energized more than ever since the past few weeks just from having this conversation with you. And I hope our followers and viewers also feel the same electric energy that 305 Fitness stands for. And you don't have to love dance and cardio. If you love MMA, boxing, cycling, running, there are ways to stay healthy at home. And most importantly, stay connected, right? So Sadie, I want to thank you so much for joining us. And it was a pleasure. Please, everyone, join us tomorrow. Tomorrow's Ask the Expert on Forbes Instagram Live. My colleague, Zach O'Malley Greenberg's special guest is singer Aaron Bruno. So it's a great way to just keep up the positivity and creativity. Sadie, take care and hope to
Thank
see
you so much, Forbes. I really appreciate it. And anyone who has any questions about entrepreneurship or fitness, slide right into my DMs. I love mentoring people and giving advice. So please know that the door is open.